Hello, Orange Avenue teachers. Today's video tutorial will focus on the new digital library resource that we've purchased through Scholastic Books. It is called Scholastic Literacy Pro. Now, I know most of you have classroom libraries filled with Scholastic books. Our PTA has been very generous in organizing and funding book fairs, book donations to classroom libraries. So we have a very supportive and very abundant physical collection in our classrooms and in our Orange Avenue Media Center. However, it's very difficult to manage these physical resources in this time due to the COVID-19 restrictions that we face. So I want you to imagine replicating your classroom library virtually. Today's activities will include an introduction to Scholastic Literacy Pro. We will take a look at how to set up your teacher account. We've color-coded these slides for you for your future reference, so you can refer back to them at any time. Teacher's account setup is color-coded in green. Then we will add your students and their guided reading levels. Those slides can be found on the red slides. We will show you and go through setting up students located on the yellow slides. You will see how students are able to access their bookshelves and build their bookshelf collection on the blue slides. And then we've developed some slides that we call for teachers' eyes only that are located on the white slides. Scholastic Literacy Pro provides students with a personalized bookshelf filled with titles aligned to their interests and grade level. This program offers 24/7 simultaneous access to more than 2,300 exciting and challenging fiction and nonfiction ebook titles. We have several other digital library resources that we use. For example, Epic. I know many classroom teachers are using Epic as a digital resource to support their students' reading interests. However, Epic was designed with the intention to make these books available to students during school hours. So there is a cutoff time with Epic where students are unable to access the ebooks that they might be reading or interested in during school time. Scholastic Literacy Pro kind of negates that for us. We have now a program here that allows 24/7 access as well as simultaneous use. So we can use this for books clubs, literature circles, whole class novels, simultaneous use, which is something that Sora, one of our other digital libraries, is not as user-friendly with. It's a lot more complicated. It's also a lot more expensive, honestly, to purchase all of those book titles. Scholastic Literacy Pro makes a plethora of book titles available to us 24/7. Students can monitor their progress and goals, taking charge of their own personal reading journey. As they set up their profile, which you'll see later, they can set their own reading goals. They can choose their number of days that they'd like to read in Scholastic Literacy Pro, as well as the amount of time each day that they're reading. And then they can monitor their progress in their results and in their profile. Literacy Pro supports guided reading and Lexile levels, providing us as educators with key data to drive instruction. In this tutorial, you will see how we will set up student accounts, assign current guided reading levels based on our reading assessments at the beginning of the school year, and then how you will be able to reassess and make changes to their guided reading levels at any time during the school year to make sure that their guided reading level correlates with their actual abilities in reading. So let's get started. Here you're going to follow the directions for setting up your class in Scholastic Literacy Pro. The first thing we're going to do, and I'm going to do this with you now, is open a new tab in Google. Make sure that you are signed in to your Cranford Google account. You can do this simply by checking the icon in the top right-hand corner. Putting your cursor over that icon tells you that I am in fact signed in to my account, which is patricelli@cranfordschools.org. And our students are very familiar with the Google Apps waffle. So we've made it very simple and easy for them and you to access by placing this in our Google Apps waffle. Remember, we have our apps organized here alphabetically. So if students scroll all the way down to the bottom where we have our Cranford specific apps, they'll see an icon here for Scholastic Literacy Pro. If you click here on this Google app, you'll see that, Scholastic Literacy Pro is prompting us to identify ourselves and choose the account that we're going to be using. Make sure yourself as well as your students are choosing your Cranford account always when this is prompted to them. Now, we've managed our Google Waffle app sign-in to automatically bring us to the student sign-in. It makes it much easier for our students. However, for the teachers and librarians, we need to remember that we need to click on this little link here that says sign in as an educator or librarian. So we will do that now. And then we are uploading our students and we are always signing in through the Google Classroom. So we will, similar to our students, always sign in using the Google Classroom. I like to remind the students that it's the button with the big colorful G for Google. It makes it easier for them to remember, especially our little ones. Again, Scholastic and Google want me to identify myself and the account that's logging in. So I'm making sure to choose my school account. And then Scholastic is going to bring me to our digital manager. For our other teachers who have additional Scholastic resources, for example, I know that many of our teachers use Scholastic News. You will find Scholastic News as well as Scholastic Literacy Pro here in the digital manager. Scholastic manages all of the resources that you purchase and use digitally here in what they call their digital manager. Now, for my purposes, currently, I have already activated Scholastic Literacy Pro. The very first time that you sign in, you will have to activate the Scholastic Literacy Pro account for yourself. This is a one-time access code that is needed. So when you come to this point, you'll put in the Orange Avenue access code, which is 3SU4MRC, and you will click Submit. Scholastic will cultivate then those resources for you, and what you see here on my screen is what you should then see on yours. You're going to see a little section here that says curriculum resources, and there is a student access where you can manage student access, as well as Scholastic Literacy Pro where you can launch yourself into the Scholastic Literacy Pro digital library. The first thing I'm going to do is show you how to import and sync your classes in from Google Classroom. Since we are a G Suite school, it is very easy to import a class or resync a class if you have a new student that enters and you need to pull them in as well. So you'll see that I've already imported some of my classes. Importing a class is very simple. All you have to do is click on the import a class button. Because we're already signed in with our Google account, Scholastic will access our Google Classroom accounts that are available for us and ask us to choose a class that we would like to import. You can scroll through your class, your Google Classroom list, click on the classroom that you'd like to import, and then select the grade level. I've selected Ms. Roberts' K-2 class because this is a multi-level class. For those who are single level or single grade level class, it's a little bit easier for you. You can select one grade. For my multi-level classes, like Ms. Roberts' class here, you'll see a multiple choice, which we will select since Ms. Roberts' class, as you can see, is a K-2 class. Then you're going to simply click Import. Once you've imported the class, it will propagate on the next page. I'm going to cancel my way back out and use this class, which I have here for us. It's a grade 4 class. As you can see, the class is listed here. You'll also notice that the class has access to the entire K to 8 full library at this time, although their current grade level has been assigned. Once we are able to put in their guided reading levels, Scholastic Literacy Pro makes available for students the guided reading level that a teacher assigns, and then 2 levels below to ensure that students have a range of titles and texts available to them at or slightly below their independent reading level. We want to make sure that our students are comfortable and confident in our reading, and Scholastic gives us that range at their independent reading level and slightly below so that they have some choice. Once a class is imported, if you need to resync a class at any time, it's simple. We can come right here where we are in the student access managing students, and you'll simply click the resync class button here. If I wanted to choose a different class to resync, I would pull down the drop-down menu, select that class, and resync that class at that time. So if you have a student who either enters or exits your class at any time, or if your classes change on some sort of cycle period, you may have to do this periodically, and this is where you would do that. The last thing I want to show you today in this video tutorial is how to assign your students guided reading level. In order to do that, you actually have to launch the Scholastic Literacy Pro program. Sometimes it does take a moment for Scholastic to launch that full program. Our interface as a teacher, educator, librarian looks slightly different than the students. And so we're going to access resources here that the students do not have access to, namely this tab that says Students and Reports. You're going to click here. You'll find an analysis here, an overview for your own general knowledge. You can see how much usage time this class has over the total amount of minutes that's been used. You can see the total books read from this specific class. Right now, I have all of my classes. As you see, I'm viewing all of my classes. Median reading level is a level R. This is for, I specifically teach grade levels kindergarten through 5th, and the Think More score, which is comprehension questions that students are given the option to answer, is at about a 70% score at the moment. And we have 3 students who've already met their reading goals for the week, and it's only Wednesday. So you'll also see some information broken down in our students here: total minutes read, ebook minutes, student entered minutes. Scholastic Literacy Pro does allow students to enter minutes for hard copy books that are not available in Scholastic, which helps to better manage for a lot of our classroom teachers our reading logs and our reading time. Now let's talk about inputting reading levels. If you click on the plus sign next to the student's name, a drop down will propagate for you. You're going to see this assign or adjust. Now we're going to select here, and you have a number of different levels that you can assign or use for Scholastic to give the students reading materials at their independent reading level. In our district, we use Fontes and Pinnell, so we're going to enter our guided reading levels based on the assessments that we've already given at the beginning of the year. Scholastic Literacy Pro suggests that you enter at least 2 to 3 levels throughout the year just to reassess. So they suggest a beginning of year, middle of year, and end of year adjustment to the student's guided reading level, which correlates with our district's assessments as well. So we probably will be following this beginning of year, middle of year, and end of year adjustment and assignment schedule. Now, as this is the beginning of the year, you would click on beginning of the year. You would select the date that you're entering this into the program. It could correlate with the date of the assessment that you gave that helped you to determine the student's guided reading level. That's up to each grade level and grade group, how they would like to organize this. Scholastic does require you to select a date. You can set, like I said, select the date of the assessment given that determine the student's guided reading level, or you may input the date that the adjustment is being made. And then simply click on where it says GRL for guided reading level, and you can manually input each student's guided reading level here. Let's say that this student was at a level H, you would put in level H and then click that save button below. I would suggest that you explore the Scholastic Literacy Pro library yourself, become familiar with how to add books to the digital bookshelf, which is referred to here as My Books. We'll go over a couple of quick icons before our time is up. So in order to add a book to Scholastic Literacy Pro's digital bookshelf, you are going to simply click this plus sign. When a student or yourself clicks this plus sign, the plus sign will then turn into a check mark to let you know that it has in fact been added to your digital bookshelf. When I go to check my digital bookshelf here and I click on my books tab, I'll scroll down to see that this book has in fact been added to my bookshelf. When I am finished and would like to take it off my bookshelf and put it back in the digital library, I'll simply click that check sign again, and it will turn into a plus sign for me. And when I refresh my page here, you'll see that it is no longer on my digital bookshelf, and it has in fact been returned to the digital library. A couple other things to note when you're going over this library with your classroom. You should make point to let the students know that there are some icons that allow you to know what is available in the book before students even open the book. So as we scroll through the library, you'll see a couple of icons here alongside these books. As we scroll down, I'm just going to find one that has an icon here, such as this one, The Librarian from the Black Lagoon. How fitting. And some of our books here in Scholastic Literacy Pro are available as audiobooks that can be read along with the book. And the text is highlighted word for word with that read along. And if that is something that your students are looking for or something that they want to know before they actually physically click on the book to open the electronic book, that little speaker sign here indicates that this book is in fact an audio book or is available as a read along if they so choose. There's a feature once the book is open, if you click on it, it does not automatically open and start reading as an audio book. Students will select for the audio version to read along with the text, and they have this option. They can read it independently as an ebook, or they can click the speaker button, and as they turn the page through each book, the audio will be read to them.
The Librarian from the Black Lagoon. Story by Mike Thaler. Pictures by Jared Lee.
There's also an option here for our readers who might need a little bit more support to slower the pace or lessen the pace of the reading of the audio text. So there's a normal feature, and that's what automatically plays. And if we need to slow down the pace of the reading for our readers and our students who need that, it is available for us here. The last thing that I want to point out as well is that Scholastic also offers a number of books in Spanish. And so there is a little icon next to the book that shows the N with the Spanish accent over it. Here you'll see there's actually, this is a good example. There's a Dolphins book by Penelope Arlen in English to the right, and to the left, we have the same book available in Spanish to the left. And that's noted, like I said, not only by the Spanish language and uh, writing on the cover, but also by the Spanish accent to the right here. So if you have any questions regarding Scholastic Literacy Pro or student account sign in, we will be having a second session to go over a little bit more details with you, give you some information on the student side of this account, and look for that in our next video tutorial, Scholastic Literacy Pro student account sign in.